Saturday on 10.
When most of us see a fungus or algae, we probably reach for the gloves and then the cleaning products. But scientists find some of these tiny bugs really exciting because they're promising to deliver us clean and abundant fuel for our everyday needs.
What?
Marianne Haines has just been awarded a prestigious Origin Foundation John Monash Scholarship to continue her research on microorganisms and biofuels. And we're thrilled she's joining us this morning on Studio 10.
Wow.
You are an incredibly inspirational young achiever. What will this scholarship mean to you?
It means that I can pursue my dreams. It means that I can move over to Calgary, to Canada, and start researching into how to make these biofuels more efficient, how to make them industrially viable, and how we can really integrate them into society.
Well, tell us about biofuels. I mean, you're going to study at the University of Calgary, I understand, where they research, for instance, algae.
Yeah.
Now, how algae is something you find in lakes and ponds and stuff like that. How can that be something we can use in biofuels?
Well, the brilliant thing about algae is that we can just find it naturally in the environment and basically harness it and capture it to turn it into biofuels. There are lots of different types of biofuels, so people have usually heard about a couple of different types, so maybe from agricultural waste and things like this, but the good thing about algae is that it doesn't take away a food crop, things like that, and we can grow it on arid land, say in the centre of Australia where we have lots of sun.
Wow.
And so bringing high-value jobs to rural areas. The fantastic thing about algae is we can grow it in high kind of cell densities in these systems that they have at the University of Calgary, and then we process that and convert it into a biofuel like methane.
Wow.
Really?
It seems like just the harvesting process there seems very sort of laborious, but just a few days ago, Qantas actually flew an airliner from LA to Melbourne with biofuel in its tanks.
That's the thing,
I mean,
yeah.
how many little plastic
Mustard
cups of
seed.
algae did that...
But it was mustard seed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many different types of biofuels and they have pros and cons to each of them. The fantastic thing about biofuels as a renewable energy source is that, yes, we have solar energy from the sun and we're really good at that in Australia, but we're still going to need to fly planes.
Yeah.
So it's quite unfeasible at the moment to charge a plane. So you want to hope that, you know, you've got enough of battery power in that plane.
We need a very long extension cord.
Yeah, exactly.
So is it practical? Like, will we get to the point where we can harvest enough algae off enough lakes or...
Yeah, so what basically, the lake is just the source in the beginning. So that's where we kind of basically get our source algae from. And then we grow it in these systems that are like, think about it as a vertical but green and living solar panel. So you put a little bit of algae down the bottom and then over time it will grow up and you harvest it and then convert that into biofuel.
How much algae would it take to power a plane, for example?
That's a very good question. A lot of individual cells all converted, but I can't really answer it, to be honest.
That's what you're working on.
Yeah, exactly. So lots of different scientific avenues to pursue, but mainly making it more efficient.
Yeah.
So were you good when you were little at maths and science at school?
I was average at best, which I think is valuable to tell people that, because I wasn't... There's this idea that scientists are these incredibly innately intelligent people, and it kind of puts off young people from pursuing science because they think, I'm not naturally that skilled or that talented. But as a scientist, you know, everyone's trained in their career to be good at different things, and that's what science really is. You're trained. And so I didn't find biology until I was at university, went back after pursuing a whole bunch of different things. I was a personal trainer and I still worked on the side doing that.
What a difference.
But you're very passionate now about your work. You remind me of the 2018 Australian of the Year. And, you know, we've heard Michelle talk about quantum physics and, you know, the atoms and all the work that she's doing, which is incredible. I mean, how did you feel when she got the gong?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic to see a female coming through, female scientist, and quantum physics, something that's traditionally you know, thought of a male kind of profession as well. It's really inspiring, and I hope that it inspires young women to pursue science.
What did you think about her comments about warning against sort of dumbing down science for women? That strikes me an incredibly patronising approach. We're going to simplify the science because girls can't understand it.
Yeah. It's not about dumbing down science or maths. It's about early education and educational approaches that people can understand. So don't dumb it down, but take different tacks because people learn differently.
Marianne, what would your message be then to young Australians, especially females? Because there's a huge dropout rate with science, especially when many women go off to have children.
Yep.
What would your message be to young girls who want to follow their passion with science?
There are some fantastic initiatives starting up because it has been recognised, especially in returning to the workforce into science. So look around because they do exist in terms of scholarships. And scholarships do exist. I mean, I've got this fantastic scholarship. 10 days before the application was due, I didn't know it existed.
What, really?
I just always read your emails at university. If you're a university student, read your emails and go to these things.
Good advice.
And I was already planning on going to the University of Calgary, and I was just about to leave to go for a visit and an interview. And I found the scholarship, and I just ticked all of the boxes, and I thought, you know, something somewhere, the universe, whatever.
I mean, I know it's going to take you to Canada to study, but is it 3 years? Is it 1 year? Is it 6 months? I mean,
it's a 3-year scholarship,
3 years,
which is absolutely fantastic.
And I noticed that there's an engagement ring on your finger. So
There
what
is an
happens?
engagement
Is he
ring.
going with you?
He's Canadian.
How convenient.
So is that the reason that you applied for the scholarship?
Well, it just all... I looked at the University of Calgary because he's from Calgary, and lo and behold, would you believe, like, my area is quite niche, environmental microbiology.
Oh, I should imagine.
And they had the research, and they had microbiology, and they had environmental microbiology, and they had, you know, work in sustainable energy, which I'd been doing at La Trobe University. And my supervisor from last year had worked with my future supervisor in Calgary.
So when you
It was uncanny.
stars are in alignment.
Yeah.
So when you sent off your application to go to Calgary, did you write in it, "Won't you take me to a fungi town"?
Good job.
Thank you.
Marianne,
That's
you're
it for
the
me.
first person that's laughed at Joyce.
That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Can
Come
I
back
use that?
anytime. Yes, you can. That's yours. That's yours.
Marianne, well done on your work, and we wish you all the
Congratulations.
best.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We are tackling more hot topics right after this.